Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I want to talk a little bit about Allen Iverson. A lot of you heard about Allen Iverson's deal with Reebok, where Iverson is going to receive a payment of about $32 million in the year 2030 at the age of 55. And I've heard a lot of brothers talk about the deal and say, oh, that's brilliant, that's amazing, that's extraordinary. And I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that it's the worst deal in the world. But I want to point out a couple of concepts that really kind of raised a red flag with me in terms of saying, while it might be a decent deal, it wasn't optimal. It might have been okay, but it wasn't the best. It might have been decent, but it wasn't the answer. So get comfortable, buckle up a seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to ask you all, before we even get started, can we do a sound check? Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay. Put a yes in the chat if I'm coming through all right. If my audio is good, I got to do a microphone check real quick. Also, shout out what city you're from. I see Anita. I see Ron. I see Janice. I see King Smith. How you doing? Derek, Shirley, ATL in the house. Yeah, ATL. You know, my wife is doing a speed dating event in Atlanta on Friday, July 22nd. If you want to go down there, just go to boycewatkins.com. The link to drama-free speed dating is there. So if you're looking to date and have them be drama-free, then that's what the speed dating event is all about. All right, yeah, I see Wesley's in Philly, which actually I'm in Philly. I'm in Philly this week. Tomorrow I'm going to participate in kind of a celebrity NASCAR racing event by the Urban Youth Racing School. And there are going to be a lot of NASCAR drivers like Kyle Larson and these other people, Gilly the Kid, and some other people I don't really follow that much, but I think there's like some interesting people there. And I'm going to be racing them tomorrow, actually. So if you want to actually go down, the link to that is also at boycewatkins.com if you live in the Philly area. All right, so let's jump in. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I'm going to be real quick because I got to go to a meeting, but I wanted to talk about this because I mentioned it earlier. I didn't get a chance to flesh out my point, but I want to make the point real quick. Give me a yes or no. Yes or no. How many of you have heard about Allen Iverson's deal with Reebok? Did anybody hear about that deal? Give me a yes or no if you heard about this deal. Basically, this deal is a deal that Iverson made with Reebok many, many years ago. I don't know the exact year. Actually, here on tallyinco.com, I assume the information is reliable. If it's not, then I apologize. But this is what's been circulating the internet. It says Iverson made a decision in 2001 that would inevitably save him from his future self. He signed a unique endorsement deal with Reebok. In addition to paying $800,000 a year for life, Reebok set aside $32 million in a trust fund that Allen would not be able to access until he turns 55 in the year 2030. The deal came to light when Allen's ex-wife filed for divorce. So apparently his wife filed for divorce in 2012. A judge in Georgia ordered him to pay $900,000 to a jeweler. In December 2012, Iverson told the judge that his monthly income was $62,500. His expenses were $360,000. Woo! According to the court filing, Iverson's monthly expenses consisted of such notable items as $125,000 going to various creditors and mortgages, $10,000 on clothes, $10,000 on restaurants, entertainment, and $10,000 on groceries. So, you know what? You can say what you want about Allen Iverson, but you know that he didn't hold back. Allen Iverson went hard on the court. Apparently, he went hard in his life. He was a great basketball player. He had so much heart, and I had a tremendous amount of admiration and respect for him as an athlete, and I wish him the very best as a human being. I want to make that 100% clear. I'm not here to jump on any sort of Allen Iverson diss fest at all. If anybody's being dissed, it's probably Reebok or maybe Allen Iverson's financial advisors, but then again, I don't even know them, and I don't know all the details of this deal, but I do know what the brothers are circulating, and I wanted to address some of it, not to tell you that you're wrong, but to give you something to think about, because a lot of brothers were sharing it saying this was brilliant. This was the smartest thing in the world. He put this money to the side so that he could have this big payday in the year 2030, and I don't disagree with that. I get it. I hear exactly what they're saying. They're saying that he was smart to know that a young Iverson might have blown the money. A young Iverson would have threw it up at the club, would have went hard at the casino, the money be gone, and he would have nothing. But instead, the young Iverson had enough foresight to say, hold my money, put it to the side. I'm going to pick it up in the year 2030 when I'm older and more mature so I can make sure I don't go broke. Beautiful. I agree 100%. No questions asked. Here's the problem with the deal, though. And again, I'm speaking as a financial scholar, as a financial mathematician. There are equations and formulas you can use to determine what a deal is actually worth. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to go into all the details. If you want to join my class, you can go to my website and join a class, and I'll explain a lot to you. But I'm not going to go through all that today because it would take too long, and I got to hit the road in a second. But here's the deal. There's this concept called the time value of money. Time is money. Time is money. So everybody write the words time is money in the chat. Everybody put time is money in the chat. Time is money. In fact, time is not just money. Sometimes time can be more valuable than money. Time is incredibly valuable. There's no financial equation that you can come up with that involves interest, compound interest, inflation, and all these other factors without considering time. Time matters. So here's the deal. Given that we know that time is money, you need to consider the Reebok deal in the context of that fact. Now, here's what I would say. Now, first of all, let's look at the nature of the deal. The deal sounds to me, again, based on what I know, that it was a lifetime deal. That Reebok said, look, homie, we will pay you $800,000 for life. That sounds pretty good. Okay, cool. And then we're going to give you $32 million 30 years from today. Right. So just understand, first and foremost, first concept you really got to understand. You've always known this. You've always understood this since you were a kid. I'm going to just re-emphasize this to you. There's a big difference between getting $800,000 for life, let's say over the next 40 years, with 800,000 times 40, what's about 8? Let's see, 8 million times 4 would be about $32 million plus another big payment of $32 million. That's $64 million total. So there's a difference between getting a total of, let's say, $64 million over the next 30, 40 years versus getting $64 million right now. Do we understand that? Are we on the same page with that? Give me a yes in the chat if you follow that. Okay, we know that. You've known this your whole life. Getting your money now is better than getting your money later because time is money. Well, why is that? Well, because when you have money in your possession, you can do things with it. You can use it. You can invest it. You can grow it. You can plant it. You can turn it. If you gave me $64 million right now, because I know a little bit about finance, I know a lot about investing, I could turn that $64 million. If you gave me 20 years, I could turn that $64 million into about $150 million. Right? So $64 million today is not the same as getting $64 million over the next 30 or 40 years. Make sure you understand that concept. This is critical to understanding the nature of the Iverson deal. So here's the deal. There are these equations called future and present value equations, the future value of money and the present value of money. And again, I'm not going to go into the details and bore you with that. I'm just going to tell you that I know these equations like the back of my hand. I taught them for many, many years to my students at Syracuse University. And what that does is it's a financial time machine that allows you to say, well, what's $32 million in 30 years? Well, how does that compare to what amount today would be equivalent to $32 million 30 years from now? Like if I had a choice between getting my money now and getting it later, what amount today would be equivalent to getting $32 million 30 years from now? Well, if you make certain assumptions and you put these things in the equation, in these variables, you have to put in inflation. You have to put in the amount of interest that he could have earned on other investments if he had planted that money somewhere. $32 million in the year 2001 could easily, over a 30-year period, be turned into about $150 to $200 million very easily. You don't even have to be a good investor to do that. You can literally invest the money in an S&P 500 index fund, and that $32 million triples or doubles, triples, maybe even quadruples over the next 30 years. Do you understand? Okay, so if you were to make that comparison, what you would find, based on my calculations, is that $32 million for Allen Iverson 30 years later is worth about $2 million if he had gotten all the money in a lump sum in the year 2001, maybe $3 million. So it's a much, much smaller amount of money. The other thing is that the $800,000 for life, there's another equation called the perpetuity equation. When you get a consistent set of cash flows, when you get a consistent stream of income over a long period of time that lasts forever, that is what you call a perpetuity. It goes on perpetually. So a perpetuity can be valued also through these equations. And so based on my calculations, that perpetuity of $800,000 a year might be worth about $8 to $10 million total, maybe $12 million if you were to get it in a lump sum. So pay attention now. So remember, Reebok signed a deal with Iverson that was a lifetime deal. The two components of that deal that I'm aware of are, one, the $800,000 payment for the rest of his life, and two, the $32 million payment he was going to get 30 years later. If you were to calculate or translate those amounts into a lump sum amount, like if you were to create a lump sum deal where he got an amount right then and there in 2001 that's equivalent to what he's going to get over the next 30, 40 years, it would total about 12 million plus 2 million to 3. So it would be about $15 million. So $15 million approximately, on my calculations, is about what that deal was worth if it were to be paid as a lump sum. If Iverson had just barged in office and said, I don't want to get my money 30 years from now, give it all to me now, and they created the calculations to do that, and they would have said, okay, well, here's $15 million. That's the equivalent of the 30, 40-year deal that we just offered you. Now, I want you to answer this question for me. Give me a yes or no. Do you think that in 2001, an Allen Iverson lifetime deal, Allen Iverson, one of the baddest dudes in the whole NBA, NBA megastar, NBA champion damn near. I don't think he didn't win a championship, but he came damn close. He had the heart to win one. Do you think that $15 million in a lump sum payment would have been a fair deal for a lifetime deal with Allen Iverson? Do you think that would have been a fair trade? Do you think that any shoe company could have given Allen Iverson $15 million, let's say even $20 million, let's make it bigger, right? $20 million and said, we own you for life. We have your brand for life. Yes or no? Do you think he would have gone for that? Do you think his advisors would have gone for that? Do you think the public, it would have made sense? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't remember all the players who did lifetime deals, but I just want to I don't know if it was Garnett or somebody else, but when I see lifetime deals, even back then, those deals were like 80 million, 100 million, etc. They were big, big fat numbers. Michael Jordan was killing it with the Jordan brand. He's made billions of dollars off the Air Jordan brand. Larry Miller, who was the former CEO of the Jordan brand, who grew the Jordan brand from $300 million to $3 billion. Larry Miller is coming to the All Black National Convention, by the way, which is October 28th through the 31st. You can go to boycewatkins.com if you want to come. Larry Miller will be there, and we're going to have a fireside chat with Larry Miller to talk about how he grew the Jordan brand into the iconic brand that it is right now. He's a smart guy. He's a good brother. He's actually here in Philly. I think I'll see Larry this weekend. I'm not sure. But either way, though, Michael Jordan made billions of dollars from his Jordan brand. Now, Iverson was no Michael Jordan, but he did cross him over real nasty one time, and he was an inch away from being Jordan. I believe that if they had been the same height, I believe Allen Iverson would have been better than Jordan, actually, if they were the same height. That's what I just believe. That's just my 2 cents. But the point of the matter is that I don't think Allen Iverson would have signed a $15 million lifetime deal with Reebok. Now, here's the caveat. Here's the point that y'all made that I agree with you 100% on. You said, look, but it's good, though. It's better than nothing, because Iverson, he was a little reckless with his money. Let's keep it 100. He was throwing his money away. The generational wealth that Iverson could have been a billionaire like LeBron, but instead, unfortunately, he made some bad choices. Maybe he had some bad influences. I told you, culture is important. When you talk about economics, the culture you come from is important. That's why some of this hip hop, you could throw that shit in the trash, because some of it is just teaching black men to destroy their lives, throw away their money, stay high and drunk on drugs, hate your women, kill each other. Ain't nothing healthy about that. And those people in the background, those non-melanated people who are promoting that crap on the radio, they're doing it because they want to keep you down. They want to keep you broke. They want to keep you locked up. They want to keep your families broken. They want to keep you high and drunk. They want to keep you uncompetitive. So I don't know why you would let some suckers tell you what your culture is supposed to be. That's where I stand on that. So I think some of this is bad culture. I think that when you look at good examples, though, Iverson wasn't the only example of what an NBA player did with his money. You got some great examples. Shaquille O'Neal's mother, she held his money and invested his money. Now Shaquille O'Neal is going to be a billionaire one day because his family had a culture of economic responsibility. Michael Jordan is a billionaire already because despite his many flaws as a human being, he had a culture of economic responsibility around him. LeBron James is now a billionaire because he had a culture of economic responsibility around him. Steph Curry is going to be a billionaire one day. There's a lot of NBA players right now who are going to be billionaires one day. So here's the deal. When you make the argument to say, well, this is better than nothing because he would have spent all the money, I get that. That makes perfect sense. But the reality is that the black man is not a child. The black man is not a child. So to have another man, another adult, say, well, I'm going to hold your money because you're too irresponsible to have it, that's really an insult to you. It's an insult to your family. It's an insult to your intelligence. Give me my damn money. If you pay me, give me my money, I'll be responsible for my money. You can set up the Reebok didn't have to set up that trust. I don't know who set up the trust. I have no idea. I don't know the details of that. But Reebok didn't have to do any of that. His lawyers could do that. His financial advisors can set up a trust. That's earning interest the whole time. They can say, hey, look, instead of giving us $32 million in the year 2030, give us $25 million now, or give us $22 million now, and we'll set up a trust. We're going to invest the proceeds, and that $22 million in 30 years, when it's released, is going to be worth about $80 to $100 million. That's what we're going to do, because we understand that time is money. And the more time we let you spend holding our money, the more we're losing. So just understand this. If you don't learn anything about what I'm talking about today, if you don't hear a single word I'm saying, I need you to understand that concept, that time is money. And this is a mathematical fact. This is proven. Getting your money today is better than getting your money tomorrow. And when you get your money today, you can use it, you can invest it, you can grow it. But if you got to wait 30 years to get your money, that ain't the same money. It's like if I take your car for 3 months and I drive it 10,000 miles and I say, or I drive it, let's say 50,000 miles, and then I give you the car back. I'm not giving you back the same car. I'm giving you back an older car. I'm giving you back a rusted car. I'm giving you back a car that's worn out. If I take your woman, if I borrow your woman for 5 years and then say, oh, I'm going to give her back in 5 years, it'll be the same woman, but I done spent 5 years with your woman. Is that going to be okay with you? No, because that's not good. You're going to be like, no, you're bringing her back, and you've kind of abused some things while you had her in your company, right? So the same thing is true when you talk about money. When you let people hold your money for long periods of time and they're not compensating you appropriately for holding your money, then you're getting ripped off. Iverson, in my view, a lifetime deal with an Allen Iverson type caliber athlete back in 2001, in my opinion, would have been worth $80 million or more. That's my thinking. So, but the fact that I can translate that deal mathematically to about $15 million bothers me, because it looks like a good deal, but it's not. It's a sucker's deal, to be honest with you. I don't know who signed it. I don't know who agreed to it. I don't know how the conversation went. I don't know Iverson personally. I'm not here to diss. I promise you I'm not. And there may be details I'm not aware of, so I want to make sure that's 100% clear. But I can just tell you, you must understand that time is money when you talk about investing. And that's why I tell you to invest for your kids, because your kids have the most valuable asset in your family. Their asset is time. They have 25 years to grow small amounts of money that you invest for them into massive amounts of money that will take care of them in adulthood. So I ask you this question. Give me a yes or no in the chat. This is the last thing. This ain't really just about Iverson. It's about you. How many of you are investing for your children? Give me a yes or no if you are investing for your children, or if you plan to. Give me a yes, a verbal yes in the chat if you either are investing for your children or going to invest for your children. Even if you don't have any children, start investing for your children now, because that means you got even more time. You got an extra 5 years before you give birth to the first baby. So my daughter, I talked to my daughter. She said, I'm gonna have a child next year. I said, start investing for that child right now, right? Because they have time. So time is money. Just understand that. So when I talk about Iverson's deal, I'm gonna make this clear. I get what y'all are saying. If Iverson had gotten a bunch of money back then, he probably would have wasted it. No question about it. He got a divorce. His wife would have took a bunch of it. Absolutely. But at the same time, a man who has discipline is able to be a good steward of his money. And most of you, I don't want you to be in a position where you need a white man to hold on to your money just so you don't go blow it. He ain't nothing special about him. His ice ain't colder. He's not more of a man than you. He's not better than you. So why in the hell would you let him hold your money like you're a child? You're not a child. You're a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass woman. Be a grown-up. Protect your wealth. Protect your wealth. Black people, protect your wealth. The number one reason that the racial wealth gap keeps growing is because we don't know how to protect the wealth. We give it away. Mr. Arab man who set up the corner store, I'm gonna give you all my money. Mr. White man who's running the mall, the local mall, I'm gonna give you all my money. Mr. Popeye's chicken, I'm gonna give you some more money. But then I turn to the black business owner or my own damn relative who done tried to start a little business. I ain't got nothing for them. I ain't got nothing to purchase educational products for my children, but I got plenty of money when it comes to making it rain in the club, or buying a new pair of shoes, or going out to the mall, or going to buy some damn chicken. So just protect your wealth. That's extremely important. You must protect it. You must grow it, because future generations depend on it. And the thing that makes me sad is when I hear about an athlete going broke, is I'm not thinking about them. I'm thinking about their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Ain't no reason on this earth, if you were an NBA star and you made $100 million in your lifetime, all your grandchildren should be millionaires. Every last one of them. And if your grandchildren are starting over in poverty and all they got are stories and legends about how great their grandfather was in basketball 100 years ago, that makes me very sad, because it doesn't have to be this way. You cannot build wealth if you're starting over every generation. You must have an intergenerational transfer of assets in which the assets are growing from one generation to the next. Do you know what rich people do? One little trick rich people do is they do something called buy, borrow, and die. You know what they do? They acquire assets. They don't sell them. They're not all of them. The smart ones. They'll buy a bunch of stuff, like Bill Gates buying all that farmland and people buying real estate. They'll buy a bunch of assets, and then they'll never sell the assets. When they need money, you know what they do? They borrow against the assets so they can get loans against the assets that allow them to live a lavish lifestyle, and then they die. And then you know what happens? They pass those assets to their children, and their children don't pay taxes hardly on the assets at all, because there's a new tax basis set up once the person dies. So if you bought $1 million, the way it's supposed to go is if you buy some land for, say, $1 million and it grows in value to 10 million, you're supposed to pay taxes on that 9 million. That only occurs if you sell the land. That's a realized capital gain. So, but if you never sell the land and you pass it on to your kids, then their tax basis starts at 10 million. So they're only going to get taxed on any amount that they make over 10 million, not on the first 9 million that their parent made before they died. So these are little tricks that people use. And I encourage you to just kind of learn these things. You know, it baffles me when people say, I don't have any money. And then I say, well, how much money have you invested? They'll say none. I'll say, well, why would you expect to have money if you didn't invest any money? Why would you expect to have a harvest when you planted no seeds? That doesn't make any sense. No farmer would expect a big harvest if they planted no seeds. And I would say, well, how much time did you spend learning about money? They would say, none. I don't really study money that much. Well, how could you expect to master something that you don't understand? If I can't tell you, I want to go out and I want to be an NBA star, and I've never spent any time on a basketball court, or that I'm 50 pounds overweight and haven't even jogged half a mile in 8 years, that would make any sense. So in order for you to be good at something, you must practice the thing that you want to be good at. So if you like money, how many of y'all like money? How many of y'all want to make money? How many of y'all want to be successful? How many of you want your kids to be rich? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Everybody who wants to be rich, all the future millionaires and billionaires, throw your hands up, say something, say it loud. If you want to make money, if you want to do well financially, then you must study the thing that you want to be good at. If you do not study it, then you will not obtain it. So go study wealth. The average millionaire spends 20 hours a month studying wealth. That's a benchmark for you to get started at. All right. So anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. I hope you guys have a good day. And also just a reminder, don't forget, in Atlanta, my wife is doing speed dating. So if you're single and you want to meet somebody nice, you live near Atlanta, just go to boycewatkins.com. Look at drama-free speed dating. It's right there. That NASCAR event with the Urban Youth Racing School in Philly that I'll be at on the 22nd. That's also on my website. And also, last but not least, many of you were asking about the financial flashcards, and we sold out before, and it took a while, but we got a new order, we got a new stock in. So if you would like to get some flashcards for your kids that will teach them financial concepts at an early age, feel free to go to financialflashcards.com. The URL is right there on the screen. So God bless you guys. And again, I want to reiterate, this was not a diss on Allen Iverson. If it comes out that way, I truly apologize. I have tremendous amount of respect for the man. I have empathy for the man. I saw his whole life story. He went through a lot. He overcame a lot. He's a great athlete. He'll always be the answer. But at the same time, I want the next generation to be better, so that the next Iverson isn't just a guy who's struggling along. I want the next Iverson to be a billionaire, because that's what he and his family deserve. So take care, guys. Love you. Please have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.